Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Tonight, we're going to be looking at Corny's Fetish, written and drawn by Renée French. If you're a fan of Renée French and you appreciate her very odd, crazy comics, this is more of the same. Just very kind of disturbing, almost like dreamlike or nightmare-like, depending on the page you're reading. But some really, I'm a big fan of her stuff. There's no one tells a story quite like she does. I can't even think of the words. Just very, very kind of disturbing. This came out in 1998 from Dark Horse Comics. Kind of weird though. They got Brian Bolland to do the cover. I guess they figured it would be more sellable, and it is a very nice cover. That's what Brian Bolland does, make very nice covers. And let's crack it open. So this is, I thought it was worth noting, it's designed by Renée French with Craig Thompson. And I think this is before blankets? I don't know. But it's kind of nice. It almost has these end papers, even though it's a comic, a floppy comic. It's got these end papers. And we start in with Corny's Fetish. So we see this little man, Corny. He lives with his cute little dog. And the whole comic is silent. It seems like he has a very simple, regimented life. He comes home from work. He hangs out with his dog, watches TV. There's neighbors, though, that he can see past his TV in the neighboring house. He can see through the window. And there's this married couple. And it seems like the husband's a bastard. It seems like he berates his wife. And he just, yells at her and then runs out the door. Probably to a bar or something. Corny seems pretty fascinated. He's kind of voyeuristically watching. And after the husband leaves, this woman is, left very sad, and Corny takes her picture. On the mantle, we see his parents. And this is the first of many dreams we'll see of Corny. I like this whenever it's a dream. It's this faded out, shaded technique. It's many artists have different ways to show, dream states. I've never seen one quite like this. I think it's very effective, just making it kind of faded. So he has a dream where he's in his little kid pajamas. Even though he's an adult man, it's like he's a kid. He's eating breakfast cereal on a TV tray. And his mom's hand is resting on his head, and he looks very happy. So we get the idea that this guy, he's pretty lonely. He really misses his parents. So he begins kind of becoming fascinated with this woman next door. He keeps watching her. One day he sees the husband is digging in the yard, and it seems kind of a coincidence, but there happens to be a sign, Rex Electric, call before you dig. Because, that's something they tell you, don't dig around your house unless you know there could be wires underground. And this guy is picking away, and we even see that there's a cable here, and he's standing in water. The whole time Corny's just watching, expecting the worst. And he's right, because that's exactly what happens. The guy, I don't know how he doesn't see this. It's kind of blatant. But he pierces the cable with his pickaxe, and he's electrocuted. God, the way she draws this. Like, look at that face. That's kind of horrifying. His eyes popping out. And he falls to the ground dead. He's about to call 911, but it seems like some people have already showed up. He seems kind of nonplussed by this. He's just getting like, oh well. Looks like I think he didn't like the husband because he's mean to this wife. The wife seems to not even know what's going on. I guess she doesn't. She's inside just reading a paper while these strangers are looking after her husband. We see a crow land, and he sees the wires coming out of the cable. Thinking they're worms, he bites on them. And of course, he gets electrocuted and dies. So Corny goes outside. I guess the ambulance has already come. Now the wife does know, of course. She's in the ambulance. And Corny picks up the crow and takes him home. And while he's doing that, he sees this woman's face again, crying. So, before we continue, I did want to, there's another interpretation to this story that's way, like, I don't even want to entertain, but I can't help it because the way Renée French draws this person, it does look like a little girl. But I mean, not many little girls read the newspaper. So I think it's just the way she draws her. But part of me was just like, wait, is this the daughter of the mean guy? The neighbor? I hope it's not, because that makes it way more creepier. So, I don't know. You guys, in your comments, I'm curious what you guys think. I'm pretty sure this is the wife of the guy. She just is drawn to look, Renée French is a weird style, so she just looks like a little girl. So, Corny has the crow at his house, and then we see him getting ready for work. He owns a chocolate shop, Corny's chocolate shop. So now he gets his photos back. The photos he's voyeuristically taken of the neighbor, the woman, and he has them up on his wall. So it does seem like he's becoming a little obsessed. When he gets home, there's a note from his son. Dad, I was here and you weren't. So we find out why he's got the crow. He also took home 2 candy eyes from work that they put in chocolate bunnies and stuff. We see the woman being, maybe this is her mother, trying to give her condolences. And I'm sorry, here's why he took the crow home. He's an amateur taxidermist. So he cleans out the guts of the crow, puts stuffing inside, sews it back up, puts the weird eyes in, and he has a new little trophy. Now we see another dream, you can tell. Oh God, this is typical Renée French, kind of gross, very disturbing stuff, where he sees the woman and his dog, and she's got a slit in her throat. Meanwhile, crows are in the background. It almost looks like wash. And within her throat is this, I don't know, chunky, meaty bits. God, that almost looks photographic. It's amazing, the technique she has. And then it's sewn up. He wakes up pretty disturbed, as you would if you had that dream. So the next day, he has a chocolate squirrel from work, puts it in a box, and delivers it. He doesn't bring it to her house. He puts it in the mail to her address. Doesn't even know her name, so it's addressed to the lady of the house. And then we find out he's also an amateur sculptor, and he makes this kind of Venus of Wallendorf-like sculpture of the neighbor. So, and then the crow, in front of the crow is this one of her pictures. So it's he's starting this shrine. His next dream is very odd. At first I thought it was a giant chocolate person kissing the neighbor. But then when they turn around, it's a hoodie. And I think this is a younger version of Corny. when he was young. and then there's we see her, she's wearing like an Angora sweater, but no pants. We can see her bush. And when he wakes up, he still has visions of like her butt. So obviously he's starting to feel very sexual towards this person. There's a funeral at the house, a wake, and he's watching, of course. So he goes to work again, comes home, and he finds a flower that he puts in front of his parents' photos. He's once again watching the neighbor, and somebody hands her the package that came in the mail. And she opens it up and finds the chocolate squirrel. She eats a little piece. And maybe I'm just a weirdo, but just that's incredibly erotic to me. And I think maybe she drew it that way because that's how Corny sees it. Corny's really obsessed with this woman. We notice plates are starting to pile up in the sink. This is kind of sad. One of the pictures he took of when the mother was consoling the daughter, he takes one of his pictures and tapes it over or glues it over so it looks like he's with her. We're realizing that Corny's he's a weirdo. He's a lonely, kind of bizarre guy. So of course he loves looking at this photo, pretending, that they're together. He has another dream, and I think this is his mother. He's a child. And then it's him as an adult, kind of being affectionate with himself as a child. And the mother's watching. A lot of this is very nebulous to me, and I'm not quite sure what to make of it. But that's to be expected with Renée French. So the next night, he goes out and he actually goes through her garbage. We find out her name's Little Bloom. He finds an old envelope. And then this, I don't know where he finds this. This becomes a significant image. This kind of, maybe this was in the envelope? I don't know. Maybe it was in the garbage. It's like a drawing of a goofy cartoon Martian. Almost looks like a cereal mascot or something, like Quisp. And he comes back home. So we see his chocolate shop. It's closed when it should be open, because we finally see Otto, the son. And we see that all the mail's been piling up in there. He hasn't been to work in a while. We see he's got a 5 o'clock shadow. He's doing more clay work. He makes a little sculpture of his dog to go on the shrine. And then he makes this giant paper mache tree. Oh, I'm sorry. He also makes a clay sculpture of himself. So it's almost like, oh, look, we're a happy family. And there's this strange 5-trunked tree. Dishes are piling up more and more. As the last of the dog food. He keeps looking over at her house and seeing the squirrel, chocolate squirrel with its head chopped off. Renée French draws it over and over. Something significant about it. And he also seems to become obsessed with this weird Martian drawing. He's constantly looking at it. He has another dream now. That weird paper mache tree he made is in it. And of course the neighbor's in it. He's carving a heart out of this chocolate tree. And then he wakes up. So now he gets another note from his son. Dad, I stopped by the shop today, but it was closed. Hope you're okay, Otto. He draws a heart on the tree, I guess to represent what happened in his dream. And he tapes the fake, the analog photoshopped drawing, photograph, of them. And then one night he sees her looking out the window. She's staring up at the moon. So he gets a little, I don't know if this is a Christmas tree ornament or just a little ball. He kind of draws on it with a pencil so it looks more like the moon with the craters and stuff. And he does kind of turn it into a Christmas tree ornament. He puts this little thing on it. This dream is just so Renée French. So there's a tiny little version of the neighbor with bandages on her face in his coffee cup. He pulls her out, and then he's playing with her tiny little feet and rubbing them up against his lips. Once again, very perversely erotic. Just so you know, I don't think it's erotic, but I think Corny obviously does. So, we see the 5 o'clock shadow more and more. So it just seems like Corny's checking out. He's not going to work. The dishes are piling up. He's just working on the shrine all the time and obsessed with this woman. It almost seems like she is looking across the way, watching him. It almost seems like she can't see through the windows because he's constantly watching her just brazenly. And it's not like she's ever saying hey, what the hell? But maybe she does see him here. I don't know. I can't tell. Because she doesn't wave or anything. She does eat another piece of chocolate though. It's almost like the only consummation that they'll ever have. We see at the Corny's Chocolate Universe, that's the name of the store, mail is piling up. And so then, this is a very odd scene. Lil comes over and is waving at him, but he's looking at his newspaper that he got delivered. So she's calling his name, and he's just totally ignoring her, looking at the paper. And she basically has an ad from the paper that she cut out because she realized that, oh, Corny's my neighbor, because there's a picture of Corny on the ad. So she wanted to thank him. But he just totally ignores her and walks in the house. You'd think he'd be thrilled. He'd be like, oh, she's talking to me, my dream girl. So she's confused. Here's the ad. So it's got his face on it. So that's how she knew. She's like, oh, I know that guy. He was next door. He sent me the chocolate squirrel. Corny's completely oblivious. They'll explain this later, though. We see he's wearing those pajamas that he had when he was a little kid with all the planets on them. So now he takes that moon he made and he dangles it from a lamp on the ceiling. He's trying to fasten it to it. He's on a chair. He looks over at the front door and he sees the neighbor. He sees Lil. He gets startled and he falls. And as he falls, his head lands right on the edge of this chair. And he fades into unconsciousness, blacks out. So Lil is knocking on the door. The dog is barking and whining because, his master has fallen. The woman's talking through the door, hello? And Corny's out. And his poor dog is licking his face, trying to wake him up. The neighbor walks away. Dishes have gotten higher in the sink. And then Otto comes to visit, the son. calls for the dog. He's like, come here, boy. Come here, Buck. And then the neighbor says, excuse me, do you know the man who lives here? Well, I guess it's not all silent. I forgot about this part. He says, yeah, it's my father. She says, I live next door. They introduce each other, themselves. And she tells him about the ad, how he recognized him. This is another part I don't understand. The dog is howling. He's going, woof, woof, woof. And Otto seems kind of oblivious. He's not like, hey, why is the dog barking so loud at the door? So she tells him about how the dad sent her the chocolate and she wanted to thank him. She says, I saw him earlier, but he ignored me. And she's like, oh, he was definitely ignoring me. And he says, well, did he see you? She says, I don't know, but I yelled to him. It's like, my father couldn't have heard you yell. He's deaf. So we find out that Corny's deaf this whole time. So Buck finally comes out. Otto says, go get Daddy. He used to leave a key under the mat, and Otto can't find his key. So Buck tries to yank on his sleeve, Corny's sleeve. He comes back out. He tells her that my dad has never been very good at meeting people. His visual doorbell, basically it flickers lights. Deaf people have that. It's not working. Finally, Otto finds the key. It's in his jacket pocket, which he never puts it in. He's like, oh, I never put it there. That's weird. And we see him putting the key into the knob. And just an odd little ending. Otto says the lock is tricky. Sometimes I have to jiggle it. And we see poor little Buck rolling the moon ornament onto Corny's chin. And that's how it ends. Very strange. Renée French does that a lot too. Just these endings that are just very, random. A little thank you page with a nice illustration here. I suspect that maybe that was Renée French's cover, but they were like, yeah, we could sell more copies by getting Brian Bolland. And the end papers again. And then there's a bonus back cover when you flip it by Peter Bagg and Jim Blanchard. Really like this. This is a great cover. Well, back cover, I should say. So there you go, guys. A very odd little comic. And Corny's Fetish by Renée French. Just like all of Renée French's comics. Very odd. And I find them so fascinating, though. There's something about she has a brain, a singular brain. Nobody thinks about the things she thinks about or draws the things she draws. She's always very interesting to me. Even though, like basically I was like reading the story out to you, it just seems like, what? That's not much of a story. But just the way she does it is very compelling to me. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed looking at this with me today. I'm curious to see what you guys thought about it. I know it's probably acquired taste, or it's like blue cheese or something. But I'm curious to see what you guys leave a comment if you like this, or if you just thought it was a bunch of gobbledygook, which I could totally understand if you did. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time here at the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.